Hello everyone, welcome back. This video is the third part of how to build a web application using Python and Flask. As a quick summary, in the last video, what we have done is we have created a new application and we have set up all the infrastructure needed to run the application. And the last step we done was to introduce a new page so the users would be able to create a new post. And along with the page, we have also created the route inside our app.py. So this is where we stop it. And now we're going to extend that example because we'll be adding a page for listing posts and also a page for updating and deleting posts. So we'll be doing these last pages in order to close this series up. Without further ado, let's deep dive on the code. As you guys can see here in the app.py, we still have the same code in here. And the last thing we have handled was the creation of the post, where we are storing that information in memory inside a map, which basically we are getting the title and the description from the form. After that, we are creating an ID, which is a sequence, and assign it to that post. So we can later on search for that same post ID. And what we're going to do now is to create a new page in order to list all the posts. Let's go. It's going to be a new template here, and that's going to be called list posts.html. And I'm going to create here a simple version of this page where we're going to simply list all the posts. Here is the code, and it's quite simple. It follows the same pattern as we have done before. For the create post, we extend from the layout HTML, which is the main layout. We also ask Flask and Jinja2 to replace the block content inside the layout to whatever we have inside this page here. And lastly here, we're calling super, which tells Flask and Jinja2 to execute whatever code it has inside that layout template. After that, we have simply here a kind of plain HTML, which is a table, and we have three columns here: ID, title, and actions. And on the table body, we have some kind of special code because this is what we need for interacting with the object we have passed from our app.py into the HTML. So we have this special notation here: open curly braces, percentage, the command, whatever we want to express, and percentage closing curly braces. In this case here, I'm doing a for loop because I'll be passing all posts to this page, and we have to iterate through every single post in order to print the post. And this is exactly what we're doing here. So I have a th here, which I'm printing the post ID. This is the way to print something inside the template. So double curly braces opening, then the object name, it is a dictionary, then I'm calling the field name, which is ID, I'm closing, and that's it. Likewise for the title here. And lastly here, I'm simply printing a delete, which will be generating a link later on. Okay, and now we're going to redirect the action here. Once the user creates a new post, we're going to forward that action to the list posts. And it's done by simply calling the redirect function and passing URL for and then the action name. And the action is exactly what we will have to list the posts. So just after that, let me create a new action here, which is going to be to handle the list posts. So that's going to be a get. It's going to be posts, and the function is going to be list posts. And now the simple thing we have to do is simply to grab all posts and then pass those posts to the template. And if you are using a database, we could have writing a query or anything else, but as we have this in memory inside the dictionary, I'm gonna grab all the values and then pass to the template. And that's done by simply calling the method list, and I'm calling mock database, which is our data structure that we're holding all the values, and give me all the values. So just packaging those values inside a list, and then we can now pass this list into the template, which is the list posts template. And that's done exactly like we have done before. So that's going to be return render template, the template name, and whatever variables we have. In this case, we have the variable posts here that we want to pass to the template. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're passing whatever is inside the template as called posts, assign it to the posts we have in here. We have posts inside this template. It's gonna work, and it's pretty neat and clean. And now we can simply run our application and test our code. Close it here and let me rerun the application, and I'll call a browser. Here we have the page to create a post, and now let's create the first post, something new. And once I hit create, it creates the post, then redirects it to the list posts, and then I can see my post listed here, which is pretty neat. We can also add another post, add it again, my second post, something else. Once I create, now I have this new post listed. So it works pretty well, and it's quite simple to grab something from the database or grab something from memory and pass into the template. Now let's complete our example and create the other functions and the other templates for editing a post and also for deleting the post. Okay, let me close here my application and let's go back to Visual Studio. I'm going to create here a new page to handle the update. The page is going to be called Edit Posts, and I'm going to paste the code here, which is quite similar to Add Posts, as you guys will see. So as you guys can see here, this is the code. That's pretty much a similar form as for the Add Posts. So extend this layout, extend our main template, replace the block content from the layout with our page here, and for whatever code you have in the main template. And now I have an update post here, just a heading, and the form is pretty much the same as the add posts with just a few tweaks. First thing is I'm passing a hidden field, which is the post ID inside a hidden field called ID, as you guys can see here, and I'm simply printing the post ID as the value for that field, so we can reuse that later on. Likewise, I'm doing for title. I'm just grabbing that value for title and adding to the title field, and description for the text area. Same thing here. I'm just feeding the data into that field. So it's gonna work, and let's run the application again. Now we can, well, we have to add again because I just destroyed everything that was in memory, but we can say my first post again and test, and there we go. Next step is to create a link here on the ID so we can redirect to that edit page and also give the user all the information from the post they are clicking. Go back to the Visual Studio, and inside list posts we're going to add that link here where we are displaying the post ID. Basically here we're gonna have a href, which is in order to create a link, and the function is URL for, and we're calling the edit post function. So we're going to render a new page with this action here. And let's create the edit post here on the app.py, and here we go. This is the edit posts. We simply say will give me a get on /posts/id, and we'll be using the ID here in the page to express that. So quite simple and quite easy. And after that, we are going to post something back to our app.py, which is going to be handling everything. And for that, we have to do a tweak on the posts here, on the create posts, because now we're gonna either create or update a post. There are many ways of doing this step, but I thought it would be easier and simpler just to handle everything inside the same method. And the change here is going to be quite simple. We are simply going to replace the ID assignment here, and we're going to say if ID exists in the request form, then grab that ID. If not, just give me a new ID, which is a sequence, and I'm going to replace by the correct function name. And that's all we need. So in this case, we're going to either create a new post or update, because if the ID exists, then it's gonna get replaced here in our in-memory dictionary. So let's run the application again and let's try it once more. So I'm gonna just go to posts, I have nothing, then I'm gonna add a new post, and then as you guys can see we have a hyperlink here, and at the bottom of the page it calls localhost 5000/posts/1. If I click on that link, it gives me the update post page, and if I change something here, I'm gonna call it first post. Yes, it is my first post. Once I update, then it gets changed here because I have replaced that information and I have updated my in-memory database. If you guys go back there, so this is the latest information I passed. Pretty cool, pretty neat. Last step here is to handle the deletion. So I'm gonna create a new action and a new page in here because I want the user, once he clicks on the link to delete, forward them to a page and then ask them for confirmation, and after they confirm we can delete that entry. So I'm gonna create a new page here. It's gonna be the delete post HTML, and I'm gonna simply copy here and paste, and this page is pretty much exactly like the edit posts, but the big difference here is that we are disabling the fields because we don't want the user to change anything. We are simply presenting that information to the user and asking, do you agree to permanently delete this information? And that's why we have all the fields disabled. So as you guys can see here, we have a form that will post to posts delete, hidden field, which is the ID. Likewise, we have the title and the description, and they are both disabled. So that's all we have to do. And in here, so we are already handling the exhibition of the form, passing the post ID, the user clicked. And now the last step here is to simply grab that request once the user confirms and then delete the post and also redirect the user back to the list posts. And that's exactly what we're gonna do right now. So this is it. This is the snippet of code here. So app.post posts delete, and then we're gonna grab the ID from the form that we passed to the user and delete that entry in our in-memory database, or could be in MySQL, DynamoDB, whatever database we want, and then redirect the user to list the posts. And that's all I have to do. Let's go back, let's restart our server, and let's run again and do another quick run through. So we have no posts. I'm gonna add my first post, first thing, and I'm gonna add another post here. Yes, it is. Now I have two things here. I can even update my posts, updated, if I look again, so that's the real information. I'm gonna create a new hyperlink here to forward to the delete confirmation page. Going to list posts, then I'm going to add a new hyperlink here. It's pretty simple. So that's the hyperlink here I have just created, and let me simply pass this information here, and we have an A here as well. So that's a hyperlink, URL for confirm delete post, and passing the post ID. And the action here, the function that's gonna return the form is this one, posts ID delete, which is called confirm delete post. We're going to load that ID from the database and render the delete post template. And once the user clicks on that confirmation, we're going back here to post delete, and then we're gonna grab the ID from the form and then delete from our dictionary and render the list posts back. So let's go again and let's do a last run through. Running the application, I have no posts. I can add a new post. I'm gonna add a new post here. I have this hyperlink here to delete, and the delete here is to /posts post ID /delete. Once I click on this hyperlink, it takes me to that confirmation page, and you'll be giving the user the ability to either confirm or not. It can be done in a humongous variety of ways, such as using JavaScript and many other mechanisms, but I'm just keeping things simple here and just going through page by page as a workflow. If the user confirms, I then delete the record and then push the user back to the list posts. I hope you guys have enjoyed my video and this trilogy as well. Do not forget to like my video, subscribe, and also click on the notification bell so you won't miss any of my videos. And please, if you want something else, if you have any other questions, just write on the comments below, then I'll be reading and respond to you guys. And I'll see you guys next time.